Boys, this is History 5th lesson, second part. Anti-caste movements. Jyotiba Phule. Jyotiba Govindrao Phule was born in 1827 in Maharashtra. He opened the first school for untouchables in 1852 in Pune. He was born in Maharashtra in the year of 1827 and he started one school for untouchables in the year of 1852 in the place of Pune. He launched the Satyasodhak Samaj in 1870 to stir the non-Brahmin masses to self-respect. He created the Samaj. What is the name for the Samaj? Satyasodhak Samaj in the year of 1870 to stir the non-Brahmin masses. Meaning of stir is mix. He wanted to mix the non-Brahmin masses with the self-respect movement. He wanted to mix the non-Brahmins with the self-respect movement. Okay. Phule opposed child marriage and supported widow remarriage. Jyotiba and his wife Savitribai Phule devoted their lives for the uplift the depressed classes and women. Uplift is nothing but raised the level of depressed class people, lower caste people. Okay, so who are lower caste people? Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes peoples are there, no? These people are called lower caste people. Jyotiba Phule and his wife Savitribai Phule wanted to raise the level of depressed class peoples. His work Gulamgiri is an important text that summarized many of his radical ideas. Gulamgiri is one book name. It means slavery. He wrote one book named Gulamgiri, which means slavery. This is an important textbook. Boys, see this picture. He is Jyotiba Phule. His wife Savitribai Phule. Next one, Narayan Guru. Born to poor parents in Kerala, Narayana Guru evolved into a poet and scholar in Malayalam. This Narayana Guru was a great scholar in Malayalam. See here, see this picture. This is Narayana Guru. He was not only in the scholar in Malayalam but also in Tamil and Sanskrit. Disturbed by the terrible caste tyranny that the lower caste people suffered, he dedicated his whole life for the betterment of the oppressed. Boys, T-Y-R-A-N-N-Y, tyranny. Okay, not tyranny. What is the meaning of tyranny? Harsh rules against caste system. On the very beginning, there were severe harsh rules against the lower caste people. Yes or no? Yes. So, he wanted to prevent that caste people from their sufferings. So, he dedicated his whole life of the oppressed people. Oppressed is nothing but depressed people. He set up the Sri Narayana Dharma Paribalana Yogam, an organization to work for the uplift of the depressed classes. He set up one organization, Sri Narayana Dharma Paribalana Yogam, for depressed classes. He established a grand temple at Arivipuram and dedicated it to all. He created one temple also. The temple name was Arivipuram. Thinkers and writers such as Kumaran Azan and Dr. Palpu were influenced by his ideas and carried forward the movement. These two people influenced by Narayanguda ideas and carried forward this movement. Next we are going to see about Ayyan Kali. See this picture, he is Ayyan Kali. Okay. Ayyan Kali was born in 1863 at Venganur in Thiruvananthapuram, then in the princely state of Travancore. He was born in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala state. Okay. The discrimination he faced as a child turned him into a leader of an anti-caste movement. Anti-caste is nothing but, I already told meaning for this. Anti means opposite. So oppose the person, those who degrade the lower caste people, that is only called anti-caste movement. So he greatly opposed the degrade for lower caste people, and who later fought for basic rights including access to public spaces and entry to school. He granted right to enter the public places and schools for the lower caste people. Inspired by Sri Narayan Guru, Ayyan Kali founded the Sadhu Jana Paribalana Sangam in 1907. This Sadhu Jana Paribalana Sangam is nothing but association for the protection of the poor. Next we are going to see about Islamic reforms. After the suppression of Great Revolt of 1857, Indian Muslims looked to Western culture with suspicion. After the suppression is nothing but end. After the end of Great Revolt of 1857, Indian Muslims looked to Western culture with suspicions. Suspicion means possible thoughts. The community feared that Western education, Western culture and Western ideas would endanger their religion. The community thought that Western education, Western culture and Western ideas spoiled the religion. Therefore, only a small section of Muslims accepted the new avenues for modern education. So, only few of them accepted the new methods for modern education. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, born in Delhi into a noble Muslim family, Syed Ahmad Khan thought that lack of education, especially modern education, had harmed the Muslims greatly and kept them backward. So what Syed Ahmad Khan thought, in that time there is no education for Muslim, so this is only harmed the Muslims greatly and kept them backward. So this is only Syed Ahmad Khan thought. He exhorted the Muslims to accept Western science and take up government services. He exhorted is nothing but encouraged. So he encouraged the Muslims to accept Western science and take up government services. See this picture. He is Syed Ahmad Khan. He founded a scientific society and translated many English books, especially science books, into Urdu. He founded a scientific society. He wanted to found one scientific society. For that, he translated many English books and science book into Urdu. So, Urdu only their mother tongue, no Muslims mother tongue. So, for better understanding, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan translated science and English books into Urdu. He believed that the interest of the Muslims would be best served if they bonded with the British government rather than pitch in with the rising nationalist movement. He thought that Muslims must cooperate with English government. So he advised the Muslims to take to English education and to concentrate on it. So he advised Muslims take up this English subject and Western education and modern education and to concentrate on these education. Next we are going to see about Aligarh movement. Syed Ahmad Khan's movement, the Aligarh movement, is also called because it was centered around the Aligarh Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College founded by him in 1875. His movement, otherwise called as Aligarh movement, because it was centered around the Aligarh Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College founded by him in 1875. He founded one college. That college was oriented to Anglo and Indian. Okay, so this movement was called as Aligarh movement. It is a landmark in the history of Indian Muslim education. So this college is a landmark in the history of Indian Muslim education. The college was raised to the status of a university in 1920. So this college turned over into the university in the year of 1920. Next we are going to see about Deoband movement. Deoband was a revivalist movement organized by the Orthodox Muslims Ulema. Ulema is nothing but organization. Orthodox is nothing but high class. The Ulema under the leadership of Muhammad Qasim Anatovi and Rashid Ahmad Gangotri founded the school at Deoband in the Sharanpur district of the UP in 1866. So these three joined together and started the school in the year of 1866 in UP. The school curricula shut out English education and Western culture. So this school curricula contained English education and Western culture. The instruction imparted was in original Islamic religion and the aim was moral and religious regeneration of the Muslim community. The instruction was original Islamic religion and the aim was what? Moral and religious regeneration. After that, Maulana Muhammad ul Hasan became the new Deoband leader. The Jamaat ul Ulema led by him gave a concrete shape of Hasan's ideas of protection of the religious and political rights of the Muslims in the overall context of Indian unity. So that Muslims wanted to give a concrete shape, some correct shape to the Muslim religion. Okay. The religious and political rights of the Muslims in the all over context of Indian unity. So this is created as the unity among Indian people. Next we are going to see about Parsi reform movement. In the middle of the 19th century, the reform activities began in Mumbai. Ferdinand Nauroji founded the Ranumai Mastyasan Sabha in 1851. Ras Goftar was the main voice of this movement. Behramji Malabari organized a campaign for legislation against the practice of child marriage. So this Malabari, one person name, Behramji Malabari was one person name, organized a campaign for legislation against the practice of child marriage. Campaign is nothing but group. The community produced many leaders such as Ferozshah Mehta and Dinshaw Wacha, who played a big role in the yearly congress. This community produced two big leaders. Who are they? Ferozshah Mehta and Dinshaw Wacha. Sikh reform movement, Nirankaris and Namdaris. Among the Sikhs of Punjab too, there were attempts to reform. Baba Dayal Das, founder of the Nirankari movement, stressed the worship of God as Nirankar. Nirankari is nothing but shape or structure, stressed the worship of God as Nirankar, formless. Formless is nothing but no clear shape or structure. Rejection of idols, idol is nothing but statues. Rejection of rituals associated with idolatry, idolatry is nothing but worship of statues. Idols means statues, idolatry means worship of statues. Reverence for the authority of Guru Nanak and the Adi Granth formed the essence of his teaching. Reverence is nothing but honor. Adi Granth is nothing but center object of the Sikh temple. He reiterated the prohibition on meat eating and liquor consumption. Reiterated means retell. He retailed the prohibition. He banned the meat eating and liquor consumption. Liquor means nothing but alcohol. So, he condemned meat eating and liquor consumption. Liquor consumption means alcohol using. Now, the Namdari movement founded Baba Ram Singh was another social religious movement among the Sikhs. This Namdari movement was founded by Baba Ram Singh, another social religious movement. The Namdaris insisted on wearing the symbols of Sikhism except the kirpan. These Namdaris weared so many types of symbols, but they didn't allow to use what? Sword symbol. Okay. Instead, Baba Ram Singh wanted his followers to carry a lathi. So, instead of sword, Baba Ram Singh's followers told to carry lathi. It considered both men and women equal and accepted widow remarriage. So, this Sabha considered that men and women are equal and widows want to remarry. It prohibited the dowry system and child marriage. So, these Sabha opposed to child marriage and dowry system. In the wake of gathering influence of Arya Samaj, and the Christian missionaries, the Singh Sabha of Amritsar was established. So, with the help of Arya Samaj and Christian missionaries, one Sabha was established in Amritsar. That Sabha name was Singh Sabha. Its main objective was to restore the purity of Sikhism. Restore is nothing but reinstall, rebuild. Okay, rebuild the purity of Sikhism. With the support of British, it established Khalsa College for the Sikhs in Amritsar. They established one college. That college name was Khalsa College. Singh Sabha was a forerunner of Aligali movement. Who was the forerunner of Akali movement? Singh Sabha. Okay, forerunner is nothing but builder. Okay, founder. Social reformers of Tamil Nadu. Ramalinga Swamigal, popularly known as Vallalar, Ramalinga Swamigal or Ramalinga Adigal was born in Marudur, a village near Chidambaram. After his father's death, his family moved to his brother's house at Chennai. Despite having no formal education, he didn't have any education. He gained immense scholarship. Ramalinga emphasized the bonds of responsibility and compassion between living beings. He always tell about the sympathy among living beings. Okay. He expressed the view that those who lack compassion for suffering beings are hard-hearted, their wisdom clouded. So, what is the meaning of this? Expressed is said. He said that the view that those who lack compassion, compassion means sympathy. Those who lack sympathy for suffering beings are hard-hearted. So, those who don't have sympathy, that people are called hard-hearted. Their wisdom clouded. their knowledge confused. Like this way only he told. He showed his compassion and mercy on all living beings including plants. He showed sympathy among all living beings including plants also. So Vallalar only composed one poem, no Tamil poem. What is that poem? வாடிய பயிரை கண்டபோதெல்லாம் வாடினேன். This he called Jeevakarnya. So this method only called by Ramalinga Adigal Jeevakarnya. He established a Samarasa Veda Sanmarga Sangam in 1865 and it was renamed Samarasa Suddha Sanmarga Satya Sangha, which means Society for Pure Truth. So this his Samarasa Sanmarga Sangam, Veda Sanmarga Sangam, renamed by Samarasa Suddha Sanmarga Satya Sangha. What is the meaning of this Sangha? Society for Pure Truth. Pure Truth, okay, in your universal selfhood. Ramalinga also established a free feeding houses for everyone irrespective of caste at Vadalur in the wake of a terrible famine in South India in 1866. So in that time, in 1866, there was a terrible big famine in South India. At that time, he fed food for many peoples. His voluminous songs were compiled and published under the title Thiruvarutpa. Voluminous is nothing but large songs, lengthiest songs, okay. Next we are going to see about, so before that, see this picture. So he is Ramalinga Adigal. This is Satya Jnana Sabha at Vadalur. Next, Yotidasa. Pandita Yotidasa was a radical Tamil scholar. Radical is nothing but thorough, okay, scholar, writer, Siddha medicine practitioner, journalist and socio-political activist. Born in Chennai, he was fluent in Tamil, English, Sanskrit and Pali languages. He campaigned for social justice and worked for the emancipation of the untouchables from the caste clutches. I already told the meaning for campaign. What is the meaning for campaigned? Grouped. He created group for social justice. He started one group for social justice and worked for the emancipation. Emancipation is nothing but liberation, freedom. Okay, liberation or freedom of the untouchables from the caste clutches. Those who suffered due to caste, for that people he created this group campaign. Okay, he worked for the construction of a casteless identity and castigated caste hegemony and untouchability. So castigated is nothing but punishment and hegemony is nothing but dominance. He worked for the construction of casteless identity and gave punishment to those who gave trouble to the lower caste people, and caste hegemony and untouchability. Caste hegemony means what? Caste domination. So in that time many Brahmin peoples dominated lower caste people, no? So that is only the meaning of this, okay. He considered education is an important tool. He considered what? Education is a very important tool for empowerment and became the driving force behind the establishment of several schools for the untouchables in Tamil Nadu. He established several schools for the untouchables in Tamil Nadu. Pandita Ayodhidasa founded the Advaitana Sabha to raise the voice for the temple entry of the untouchables. Boys, in very long ago, one rule was there. What rule? Untouchables and lower caste people didn't allow to enter into the temples, yes or no, Hindu temples. So this Yotidasa founded the Advaitana Sabha for this purpose. for the temple entry of the untouchables. In 1882, John Rathinam and Yothi Thasar established a movement called Dravida Kalagam and launched a magazine called Dravida Pandian in 1885. So they created one movement. That movement was called Dravida Kalagam, and they launched one book. That book name was Dravida Pandian. He founded a Dravida Mahajana Sabha in 1891 and organized the first conference of the association at Nilgiris. He founded one Sabha, Dravida Mahajana Sabha, in the year of 1891. Pandita Ayothi Thasar was disappointment with the Hindu Dharma, which served as the basis for propagating and validating caste in Hindu society. Propagating is nothing but preaching, validating is nothing but checking. So, Ayothi Thasar, disappointment of the Hindu Dharma. So, I already told, no, upper caste people dominated the lower caste people. So, he opposed to this Hindu Dharma, which served as the basis of teaching and checking caste in Hindu society. He wanted to preach and check the Hindu society. Influenced by Theosophic organizer Colonial H.S. Olcott, he went to Sri Lanka in 1898 and converted to Buddhism. He converted into Buddhism. In the same year, he founded the Sakya Buddhist Society at Madras to construct the rational religious philosophy through Buddhist religion. Boys, he was basically Hindu, but due to disappointment of Hinduism, he converted into Buddhism. He founded Sakya Buddhist Society. After converted into Buddhist, he started one Buddhist society. That Buddhist society name was Sakya Buddhist Society. He started a weekly journal, Oru Paisa Tamilan, in 1907 and published it until his demise in 1914. Demise means death. Okay, he started one journal, one book, Oru Paisa Tamilan, in 1907 and published it until his death 1914. Thank you.